Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I'm going to talk about Dragon Quest III, the HD-2D remake. It's already been pretty controversial because of some of the changes being made by Square Enix to this very classic 2D Japanese role-playing game. Most notably, the body types. The body types are changing. I think we're getting rid of gender. We're not going to have male and female. And they've actually gone back and redrawn Akira Toriyama's art to make it less offensive for modern audiences. For example, here on Niche Gamer, you can see the female warrior now has a sports bra and pants on underneath her armor. Let's talk about this because the creator of Dragon Quest was asked at the Tokyo Game Show what he thought about these changes, and he actually said that they're kind of evil pretending to be good. This is coming from Yuji Horii, the creator of Dragon Quest. So we're going to look at this video. Very interesting stuff. Had a couple people tag me in on this, and I might be a little late to the party, but yeah, I don't have any interest in picking this one up. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Dragon Quest fan. I know I'm going to get all kinds of crap for that, but I've always been more of a Final Fantasy guy. I'm excited about Lunar coming out for the PS5, but I have a feeling that they're going to get rid of the bromides. I have a very strong feeling they'll get rid of the bromides because of current year sensibilities and Sony being Sony. But let's talk about this one. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to Clownfish Minus, the non-plussed plus club. I don't know what else to call it, so we're calling it Clownfish Minus. You get 50% off your first month. It helps support the channel. We do not do endless live streams. We might be doing more live streams, but it's not something that we do 24/7. And after we do them, actually, we put them on Clownfish Minus. And if you remember, you can view those past live streams. We also have all kinds of merchandise. You do get a discount if you are a member of Clownfish Minus on merchandise. But anybody can buy the stuff, right? We got some hats. We got these dismal tees. We got a whole bunch of these Clownfish TV pins. So check that out. Yeah, this is coming from Niche Gamer. And we're going to go out and watch the original video here too. Dragon Quest creator isn't happy with censorship in Dragon Quest III HD-2D remake. An interview at the Tokyo Game Show has revealed that Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii isn't happy with the censorship in the Dragon Quest III HD-2D remake, along with other changes being made to the game. The interview was held with both former Shonen Jump editor-in-chief Kazuhiko Torishima and Dragon Quest creator Yuji Horii talking about the game with Denfamico Gamer. When the topic of costume censorship was brought up, both revealed they were unhappy with the changes. Yeah, people not happy with this. This is, let's see, this is coming from Shizu Value News. I think the reason why the exposure of costumes in Dragon Quest III needs to be reduced, as explained in an interview at TGS. Okay, let's listen to this because it's very interesting. And I'm going to read the subtitles for those of you listening to the audio version of this. All right, so this is Yuji Horii himself, the creator of Dragon Quest. Okay, the interviewer says there was a lot of buzz about the costumes. It became a topic of discussion because they weren't exactly the same as they were back then. He says, yeah, there were various regulations in place. You're not allowed to show much skin. She says, I don't really intend to dig too deep into that. It's simply about the user immersing themselves in the fiction and going on an adventure. What's wrong with that? I don't really understand that either. It's a game, it's fiction, and it's a virtual experience, so as long as it's enjoyable, I think that's all that matters. If there's too much exposure, the age rating goes up. That means we won't be able to sell it as an all ages product. It said rules vary from country to country. When trying to sell widely, there's the issue of having to comply with the strictest regulations. We never even thought about this in the past. Under the name, I love this. Under the name of compliance. It's like an absolute god, an evil disguised as good. There's no such thing as content that doesn't make everyone uncomfortable. I don't know what it's saying. Because beauty and ugliness, good and evil are different for everyone. Don't like it, don't buy it. No, that's me adding. But that's what they say, right? Don't like it, don't buy it. Because there are a few things that absolutely must not be done. As long as you follow those, you're free to do the rest. There's a religious concept from the West, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education, right? Their approach to compliance is really narrow-minded. When selling manga in America, everything has to be categorized by age group. For Shonen Jump manga, they couldn't be sold unless they were rated for ages 13 and up. Yeah. Because there's a risk of lawsuits, the company also has to get insurance. Doing business with such a ridiculous country is really frustrating. Doing business with a ridiculous country is really frustrating. This is insane. So he's basically saying, yeah, America's ridiculous when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because of that, Japan also gets negatively influenced. In Dragon Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and female main character, but now you can't choose between a man and a woman anymore. Okay, look at these guys. Look, these are older men, and the looks on their faces is just like, I cannot believe that we're dealing with such a ridiculous group of people as these damn Americans. Like, it's so ridiculous. We have to label them as type 1 and type 2. Yes. So stupid. It's so stupid. I really wonder who's even complaining about this. Nobody. Nobody, sir. Nobody is complaining about this. A handful of activists on Twitter. That somehow got themselves jobs working as like DEI compliance officers in the video game industry, and they have decided that they want to hold the rest of the industry hostage, and they're costing companies millions of dollars. Millions and millions of dollars because gamers are rejecting these games. This is Dragon Quest. This is a 30+ year old game. No one is expecting it to have current year sensibilities. It's so idiotic to see them go back and make these changes. Like, I would expect it from a current year title. I would. And I would give you more of a pass. Even though it's kind of dumb, I'd give you more of a pass for a current year title. But when you go back and change a 30+ year old game, I mean, this is a game, Dragon Quest 3, I remember reading about it. I think it was in Nintendo Power. They talked about what a big deal Dragon Quest was in Japan, that school children were taking off from school to buy and play this game in Japan, which never happens. Yeah, it doesn't happen in Japan. And children in the 1980s were being exposed to gender and being exposed to scantily clad cartoon women. And guess what? They turned out fine, or most of them turned out fine. Meanwhile, in America, people that were most assuredly born after this game came out are having a fit about it existing. Isn't that like the way everything is now? Like, you weren't even around during the time you're claiming to speak on the behalf of people that aren't offended about things. See also Splash Mountain. It's ridiculous. We are a ridiculous country. Shizu says, so all bad things happening in Japanese media are happening because of Americans' cancerous influences, as we all knew. Yeah. This is what they don't understand, though. They're actually, dueling ideologies. They said it's not religious puritanism. It's LGBT cultists. It's far left activists. And it's not the grading systems. ESRB doesn't give a shit about body AB or bikinis. It's either Peggy in Europe or the publishers themselves that are doing it. All ESRB cares about is blood and gore. Korea rated Stellar Blade 18. For nudity, ESRB didn't even mention it, only violence and gore. Yeah. The companies are self-censoring because they have DEI activists working for them. And it's so weird. They don't, again, this is a difference in culture, but I don't think they understand the religious right and the religious left do not like each other, but they're both two sides of the same coin. They both want to censor things that don't need to be censored. They both want to control media. He's referring to the lunatic left, the woke mob who can't decide their pronouns. I think they just kind of lump them all together because it's horseshoe theory. I think it's horseshoe theory. You cannot tell them apart because the people that are trying to censor video games are the same people that same kinds of people, same mindset. They might be on the other side of the political spectrum, but they're of the same mindset as the people who started the satanic panic. I don't like it. It offends me. It must be censored. It mustn't exist. Think of the children. Notice how not a single influencer who repeatedly bashed our side and called us grifters over the years has opened their mouths on this topic out of fear of retaliation from the folks that control sponsorships and affiliate deals. The video game industry is very locked down right now. And again, I believe that a lot of the layoffs that are happening in media in general, not just video games, but also in Hollywood and in publishing, I think that they're happening because these companies know that they let this cancerous rot, as that other person said, into the company, and the sales are declining, and people are like, I've got decades and decades of video games I've never played. Terabytes probably full of video games that you bought on Steam on sale or whatever, or ROMs, oh God forbid ROMs, that you've never played these games. You've never played through these games. You don't need to buy a single new game. So you can go back and play the many other versions of Dragon Quest III that don't have this censorship. There's no good reason to buy this remake if they're going to censor it for stupid reasons. And when you've got the creator of Dragon Quest saying it's stupid and these people are evil and he doesn't understand it and it's idiotic and nobody's thinking about this, it makes you look really bad. It does. I hope some of these companies take this absolute legend's words to heart and they're like, why are we listening to these DEI officers? Why are we listening to these consultancy firms like Sweet Baby Inc.? Why are we listening to them? We have somebody who's actually made something great that has endured for decades saying this is nonsense and we need to stop doing this. Robert here says, I mean, he's sort of right. It's not Christian Puritanism. The woke communist ideology is a secular religion. It's 100% true. It is very much the religious left. Again, horseshoe theory. They both wind up in the same place. You know, when you take your ideology to the extreme and you want to censor everything that doesn't meet your expectations, then you both wind up in the same place. It's not religious Puritans anymore. It's the woke feminist propaganda now. I love this though. It's an absolute God and evil disguised as good. Yeah, no, this is amazing. This needs to be widely circulated. I agree. Is it Kita on X who actually tagged me in on this? And No, I think this needs to be spread far and wide, that the creator of Dragon Quest is calling it as he sees it, and he's 100% correct. And I guarantee you there are older game developers who still know how to code working in the industry right now who see it, and they're not allowed to say anything if they work in the West. You're not allowed to say, hey, this is stupid, because they're being held hostage by a bunch of 20-something, 30-somethings that are offended by everything, but they've got the media in their back pocket. Their friends work at these websites, these dying websites, and they'll start smear campaigns on social media. And Sony is actually doubling down on this stuff. They just put papers out a couple days ago that they're going to double, triple down on DEI. So yeah, going back to Lunar, and I love those games. God, I love those games so much. The amazing. But you're not going to have the bromides. I can almost guarantee you. Any of the lewd jokes are going to cut those out. And it's going to be a very bland, pale imitation of the games I fell in love with. But of course, the versions I fell in love with were the Working Designs versions, which took a lot of liberties with the translation. But it was all done for fun back then, and now it's done to censor and control, and it's so stupid. So I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt, on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.